Hey guys, and welcome back to the Life in Our 20s podcast. Um, Sorry for the delay in uploading episodes. I know that I said that I was gonna upload more, but some things kind of came up and I didn't really have as much time as I would have liked to put together ideas for an episode. And I guess things just got in the way a little bit. Like, life happens, I guess. But um, I have been debating what to do this episode on, like what subject to talk about. And I just need to kind of get this off my chest. And I thought that this would be the best way to do it because although I do have really amazing friends, I still kind of find it hard to, you know, talk to them, especially when it comes to like my personal issues. And, you know, like, sorry in advance if I get a little emotional during this episode, but it's just something that has been eating away at me for a very long time. And I feel like I just have to put this out there so that people know, or else it's just going to be kept up inside of me, like forever, essentially. So recently, I did have like one of my friends came out to visit me from out of state, and it just really got me thinking that he's grown like so much, and it made me think and like stop for a second. And I hate to do this, but I tend to compare myself. I tend to compare myself to a lot of my friends. And to be completely honest, I feel like I feel like I'm getting left behind. I just feel like everybody is adapting really quickly to whatever gets, thrown their way. And I get that I don't see everything that happens in their life. So it's not a great comparison to make, but it just got me thinking that I feel as if I've wasted a lot of time. I feel like I'm doing things that I don't want to do, and that I've kind of lied to myself. I've kind of brainwashed myself into believing the things that other people have told me is best for me. And I don't agree with what has been set out for me by other people. And I kind of want to do my own thing. And I have been this way for the longest time ever. I have dreams that I want to accomplish, but people tell me that I have to do other things to succeed in life, things that will keep me from accomplishing those dreams. And I've just been feeling kind of empty recently. I I just feel like my time could be better used, and I feel like I still haven't found my place in the world, and I know that that's something that a lot of people struggle with, but it has been really chipping away at my mental health, and I think it's starting to become very noticeable to those that are around me. And I know that some people are going to start worrying. And, to that, I just say, like, I'm sorry, but there's a point where it just kind of goes over the edge. And there's only so much that I can take. And one of the things that I've been doing, since I don't like to reach out to people to talk to them, because I feel like I'm trauma dumping, or like I'm becoming a burden on them, wanting to share what I'm feeling. One of the things that I do instead is that I keep a journal. And I know that a lot of people will kind of find that weird that I keep a journal, but I've always kept a journal even from a young age. And sometimes I would get angry at myself for writing the things that I did, and kind of telling myself to grow up and, like, stop worrying about things that were stupid. But it has helped me a lot recently, and I just wanted to get very vulnerable for a little bit and just share what I write in this journal sometimes, because this is the only way that I can reach out to those that, like, listen to this podcast, specifically friends, without, without pulling back in the last second. Because I don't know what's wrong with me, but I just don't ask for help, even to my parents. It's kind of difficult for me to ask for help, and it just sucks. I don't know. I've always been told that I should grow up and become independent and stuff, and I've always wanted that. But I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like I just need a little bit of help. Like, just somebody to talk to listen to the problems that I have, the issues that I'm having, and help me sort things out. Because sometimes I just don't know what the heck I'm doing. So I'm going to share a little bit of what I have written in this journal. And I just want to put it out there so that people know that despite what I may seem like out in public, or, in private with friends, there's another side of me that I like to keep to myself, that not a lot of people know about. And it is just something that I think if some people knew about it, they would better understand my personality, my current situation. All right. So this is from June 22nd, and I wrote, "I'm getting that existential dread again. I can't see myself working for the rest of my life. I feel like I've not lived. There are so many things that I want to do, so many things that I want to see, and I keep thinking to my past. I think keeping I keep thinking back to my past self, my younger self, and I wonder what he would think of the current me. I think he would say that I'm a wreck. He would wonder why I haven't followed my dreams. He would wonder why I'm never happy, why I'm always stressed and uncertain of the future when it seemed like I had everything planned out. And I just feel like the state of the world, the economy, the work culture, everything just doesn't seem to fit me. A lot of people live for the weekend, just for the weekend. And it sucks to see these people only live for the weekend, because the weekend is when they do their chores or when they have to pay their bills. And sometimes they're too tired to, live life and have fun. And it just becomes monotonous, and every day becomes the same, and you are hoping for it to all end and for the weekend to get here. And once the weekend is there, it goes by so quick, and you feel like you haven't done anything. And I miss and I yearn for the days when I could do the things that I loved, when I knew what the things that I loved were. I think I'm very nostalgic for the good old days. I want things to return to when I was younger, because I miss those days when I could do the things that I loved, when I was my younger self, when I was ambitious, and I just feel like my younger self would be disappointed with the current version of me. I don't know, but things just seem very depressing in the world right now. And I know that nothing is perfect, and that part of growing up is having to work to survive, to be able to pay your bills and everything. But from what I'm seeing around me and the people that I love that are around me, they don't get to spend as much time with their family, and they get consumed with work. They get consumed with trying to bring money in so that they could have food on the table. And they get so consumed with trying to make more and more money that they kind of forget to live a little and enjoy life and enjoy time with their family. And I'm afraid that that's going to happen to me, and that I'm going to lose myself. And I already struggle with identity issues. I don't know who I am. And I don't know what would happen if I further lose myself. And I continue here saying that I feel like I'm holding myself back, like I'm afraid of chasing my passions. And I know exactly why I'm afraid to. And I just deny it because I don't want to believe it. But I'm afraid of failure. I'm afraid of failing more. I already feel like I have failed so many people. And I think the worst thing that can happen to me now is if I were to fail myself, that old version of myself that was hoping that I could conquer the world. because that's what you feel like when you're little, and you feel like once you get older, you're going to be untouchable, that you're going to be on top of the world, that everything is going to work out in your favor. And I'm afraid of letting that version of me, that ambitious little kid, I'm afraid of letting him down. And I know that failing is going to help me grow. But sometimes I stop and I think whether or not I should grow. Sometimes it's hard to let go and, you know, experience change. And I am afraid of change because I can't control the future. I can only control my decisions, and I'm afraid that one of those decisions is going to put me in a spot where I'm unhappy. And that's one of the things that I have struggled with a lot for the past few years is, like, being happy. I'll have a certain rush of emotions, and like I'll be very excited and happy in one moment, and then it just comes crashing down in the next. And I'm afraid that if I make the wrong decision, I won't get those sudden bursts of happiness anymore, and I'll just be stuck in this depressive loop. And I understand that change is going to come no matter what. I know that things aren't as clear cut as you'd hope them to be. You know, I wish that you could see what your decisions would bring you further down the line, but that's just not how the world works. And I don't know. I guess I'm just scared of finally entering the real world and, finding a place for myself, because this whole time, these 22 years that I've been on this earth, I have struggled to find my place, and I still feel like I do not fit in where I am right now. And I just feel very lost. I don't know what to think anymore. And I just keep looking back to my younger self that did not care what people thought of him, or didn't care if his dreams seemed too ambitious, and he would still dream and take risks and not be afraid of trying new things, and he would strive to achieve his goals. And I feel like that part of me has slowly died off, and it sucks because I still want to be young and full of life, and I still want to be ambitious, but that life that used to be inside of me is just quickly leaving, and I don't know how to hold on to it anymore. It's just everything becomes an endless cycle. Everything is the same every single day. And I just can't deal with it anymore, and I feel like I have to do something, but I don't know what that something is. So I've been thinking a lot recently, and I don't know. I just can't seem to figure out what I want to do. And I'm in a very weird stage in my life. I'm in this gray area where it's just me and my thoughts and no one really to talk to. And I kind of miss the old days, and specifically because I had a friend that lived with me because he had some issues going on in his life, and those were some of the best days of my life. And it's because I always had somebody to talk to. I have so much confidence in this person. I feel like I could always talk to them. But now seeing him all grown up and kind of doing his own life, and seeing that he doesn't have that much time to, like, to talk and do things, because I don't want to bother him. I know that he has his own personal issues. But seeing all that, just it just makes me feel kind of useless, and like I should be able to solve my own issues as well. And I think that one of the big things is that I've been coddled for so long, and I've been kind of kept in this bubble, and it's finally burst. And I don't know how to deal with it personally. I miss those days because it kind of felt like I had the older brother that I always wanted, because I always had this idea that if I had an older brother, it would make things easier, because I would be able to learn from their mistakes and kind of see things from their perspective, and that they would help me out whenever I had issues. And I I don't have that. And I know that it must be a lot worse for people that are, like, an only child, because I do have siblings. They're just younger than me. But it's very hard to be the oldest and start to interact with the real world and see just how boring and cruel and meaningless it can become for a person. Because deep down, I know that that same world that I'm going into is the same world that it's the same world that they're going to have to deal with in the future. And it just it just sucks, man, because I sit back and I see what I've become and what I'm going to become. And and I don't want that for my siblings. I want them to be able to do the things that that I couldn't do, to be able to explore the world and do what they love to do. And I hope that someday they are able to do that. But with the current state of the world and how things are going, I just don't know how everything is going to happen. I like to tell myself that everything is going to be alright. But when the world is, like, in not a very good place, it's very hard to keep telling yourself that. And I guess I'm just ranting at this point, but I feel like every generation has their own problems. Like, I remember when I was in middle school and everybody would talk about the millennials and how they had to suck it up and just deal with doing the work, and that this idea that fun time is over and that you have to work until you're 65, and you're giving up so much time of your life, but that it's worth it because you're making money and you are surviving, and you're going to get to enjoy all of that money and stuff that you've saved up once you're older. But I think we're having a similar issue with the younger generations, and it just seems like it's going to be worse and worse for every single generation, because we become more aware of the issues with the world, and we don't want to comply with what has been set out for us. And I think that's why a lot of people also don't want to have kids, because they're afraid of bringing people into this world and bring them into, like, positions where they just become this shell of their former selves, and they can't find meaning in the things that they do. And I don't know, I might just be overthinking things, or some of you might say that I'm just being a big baby about this, but I always had in my mind the ideas of the things that I wanted to do, and it just seems like it's all just fading away. And I don't want to let go of those dreams yet, and I want to do something to be able to achieve those dreams. And I just I feel like I've had enough, and I want to do something to try to get rid of this feeling of existential dread that I have, this feeling that I don't know what I want to do with my life, this feeling that I don't fit in, and I just want to, you know, do something, at least try to find my place. I just want to be able to enjoy life while also being able to, you know, provide for myself and, be a contributing member to society. But I feel like the ways that most people do that are just ways that I cannot agree with. And a perfect example is my parents, and I don't want to trash on them because they are the best thing that I could have ever asked for. They are super supportive, and they always try to find what's best for me, but I feel like I have more of a connection with my mom than my dad. And that's simply because she was around more during our childhood. And I know that my dad worked really, really hard to, you know, provide for us. And I'm thankful for that. But I do wish that he was around more when we were younger, that we got to go out more as a family. And I'm not saying that we never did. I'm just saying that I wish that we had more time together. And I'm not blaming this on any of my parents. I'm blaming this specifically on the work culture and system that we have in the US. I feel like if there was more of a work life balance in the US, that my parents would have been able to, you know, hang out together more as a family. And I just feel really saddened because me and my brother grew up together and we got to enjoy our childhood a lot. And we did go out as a family very often um, at one point. And we started to grow up, and then my dad, like, my dad knew that he had to provide for us and, pay for our expenses and stuff. So we started to essentially grow up, and like I would see my dad less and less. He was still around a lot, which is, I'm thankful for that, but I can tell that he made a lot of sacrifices to both his physical and mental health and to his dreams of like what he wanted to do. And it sucks because now as an adult, I see that my youngest brother doesn't really get to have that childhood that we have. It's becoming worse. Um, we don't go out as often. It's because our schedules are all messed up. We still try to make time, and I'm grateful for the time that we do have together. And it's very refreshing and it's very enjoyable to see when the whole family is out and about and having fun. But I just feel like we could be doing more as a family. And again, I'm not blaming this on my family. I'm blaming this on the system that we are under. But I feel like nobody nobody values your time as much as you do. And to have to sell your time so that you can make ends meet, so that you can survive and provide for your family, it sucks. And I feel like there is no price on your time, and that you should take advantage of all the time that you have right now, because you never know when you're going to have to give it up, and you never know when your time is going to run out. Like, we're on this planet for such a short amount of time, and to have to give up a lot of that time in order to survive just doesn't make sense to me. And I feel like we should be able to do the things that we love, and we shouldn't be penalized for that. And I do get that there's things that inherently have more value, but I just feel like we need to restructure the current system that we have in place. And it's not so much like because I want things to change for me. it's more so because I see how it has affected my mental health and my personal views of myself. And I don't want that for the future generations because I imagine them in a couple of years looking back at the younger version of themselves, and they're just gonna feel like what I feel at the moment, that they've disappointed their younger selves and that they haven't really followed through on their dreams and on their ambitions. And I want everybody to be able to at least give it a shot, like, give it a try. And if it doesn't work out, then you could try again, or maybe, it just wasn't for you and you'll find something else that you want to do. But I want everybody to be able to at least try it. And if it works out for you, then great, and you can do the things that you love in life and say that you've done it and that you have made your younger self proud. But with the current way that things are going, it just feels like we're being very limited. And I don't think it's fair. And I don't think it's right. But it's just the way that the world works. And I don't know if everybody else thinks this way, but I know that I do, and I stand by what I say. And I feel like a lot of the people around me have lost a piece of themselves, and that they're very different from what we used to be. And I feel like yeah, life is never supposed to be super easy, and there are challenges, but I just feel like life has been eating at a lot of the people that I know, and it's hard to see them go through so much. And I know what I'm going through, and I can't begin to imagine what they are going through because I don't know how they react to problems. And I just hope and I wish that they can get through life without any issues at all. I hope that they can achieve their dreams, or at least, attempt to, because sometimes people don't even get a chance to attempt to reach their dreams. And I just want people to live their life, you know? Take any opportunity that you have to have fun and experience new things, and, hang out with your friends and family and just enjoy it, because you don't know when it's going to be the last time that you'll do that. And you don't know when you're going to be consumed by the system and have to sell basically portions of your life, hours of your life, just to be able to survive in this world. And we don't know how much that's going to eat into our personal lives until we actually start doing it. And I think that's all I have to share for now. I just have been very saddened and very depressed lately. And I keep saying that I wish I had somebody to talk to about these things. And I guess that's why I have my journal and I guess that's why I have the podcast, so that I can also share, things that I'm going through. And, if anybody out there is going through something similar, just let me know, and, we could talk about it and try to help each other out. I think we should rely on each other to try to solve our issues. It's hard to go through things alone, and it's hard to find your place in life. And it would be very helpful if you had people around you that thought in a similar way, think in a similar way to you. And, I feel like it would be very helpful to have people like that around and be able to hold each other up, because I feel like there's no sense of community anymore in the world, and everybody is just so separated. And again, it might just be a rant, and I might just be overreacting or being a big baby about this or whatever, but I just I just don't see myself aligning with the way that everybody else views this situation. And I kind of want to do my own thing, and I'll share a little bit of that in the next episode. The things that I'm going to try to do so that I can still have time to have fun and time to hang out with my family and enjoy life while still being able to provide for myself. And I'll share what my plans are, and I'll also share what my dreams are, because I can't go on living without at least giving it a try and seeing where it takes me. And some of it might seem repetitive because I have mentioned it in the past in other episodes, but I just want to really send out this message and make sure that everybody hears it. And I'm going to leave the episode here. Share it, please, with anybody that you know. And if you see anybody struggling, offer them a hand and help them out.